UFC Fight Night, Renato Moicano versus Chris Duncan goes down this Saturday night at the Meta Apex. Yay, the Apex! In this video, I'm going to go through the whole card from bottom to top. I got it right that time. And I'm going to give my picks and predictions for the whole card. The card's alright, it's kind of mid. There's some decent prospects on the card like Tommy McMillan, Chris Duncan, Abdul Rahman Yakayev. So it's alright. There's not really much name value, but there'll be some decent scraps, I can assure you. Let's get into it. First fight of the night, Kai Kamara versus Dakota Hope. Kai Kamara's alright. He's been in the UFC before, as you can see there. Picture of him in shorts. He's not blackface like Dakota Hope with a record of 0-0. He's pretty mid, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. He had a couple of fights in the UFC. He went 1-2 and a draw, then he got cut. Won his first fight, lost two, and then drew, and then got cut. Had some success in PFL, Bellator, and Tough Enough, I'm pretty sure it's called. He did lose a title fight in Tough Enough. However, he's coming off of a win in Tough Enough. I think it was January 2026. He had another fight booked for a couple of weeks after this on Tough Enough. But for some reason, UFC have given him a call. He's now in the UFC fighting Dakota Hope. This fight is short notice, but he was in a training camp, so he's semi-ready for this type of fight. Whereas his opponent, Dakota Hope's been alright in the regional scene. What was he at? Fury Contender Series he was at, doing alright. Had a couple of decent wins, a couple of good finishes. However, I've watched some of his fights back. He gets hit way too much for the level of comp he's fighting at. He doesn't really go out there and destroy his opponents early. And for that reason, I'm going to pick Kai Kamara to use his experience and win a pretty low output decision. I don't think the Kai doesn't possess the high enough grappling skills to take Kai Kamara down and win a decision. I'm going to go Kai Kamara by decision. I think he'll get the better of Dakota Hope, use his experience. Dakota Hope's 11-1. He's not really fought anyone good on the regional scene, whereas Kai Kamara's been in there with some decent guys. And he's got the experience needed to beat these young prospects. I'm going to go with Kai Kamara by decision. Pretty mid fight though. Don't really know why they've added it on, but who cares? Talking of mid fights, next up, Leon Barbosa versus Melissa Gatto. This is a very low level WMMA fight. As you can see, Melissa Gatto is in the shorts, which were worn about nearly 3-4 years ago. Yes, Melissa Gatto has not fought since May 2024. She beat Tamires Vidal. She's not even in UFC anymore. Then her last fight then was in 2023. She lost to Ariana Lipski. She's not in the UFC anymore. So she's very fucking inactive. She's not good. Her opponent, Diana Barbosa, on the other hand, um, as a loss, she lost the last fight. However, it was to Corinne Silva. That's not a bad loss. That's who Macy Barber just beat. I think it was on UFC 320, something like that. I mean, Macy Barber, rest in peace, Macy Barber. Uh, Dion Barbosa's not good. However, she's good enough to beat Melissa Gatto. Melissa Gatto's inactive. Diana Barbosa has a grappling advantage, and I don't really care to be honest. I'm just going to pick Diana Barbosa to win by decision. She has a grappling advantage. She's more active. Yeah, we don't care. Natural decent fight. Third fight of the card on the night. Don't really know why. Azamat Bakoyev versus Treshawn Gore. Azamat Bakoyev, he's a very good prospect. Yes, he lost his last fight by TKO, but you have to consider it was against Yusuri Belgarui, who is a very, very good fighter, very good prospect in the middleweight division, incredible striking. Azamat Bakoyev looked good in the first round, then Belgarui grew into the fight, established his range, kept defending the takedowns of Bakoyev, and just showed his class in striking against Azamat Bakoyev. He's all right. He's not an elite fighter in this division. Got some prior wins against guys like Zach Reese, Ryan Elder, something like that. Ryan Loader. So he's beat some low level guys, and I do think Trishan Gore is within the low level guy category of this middleweight division. I'm going to pick Azamat Bakoyev to win by TKO, probably in the first or the second. Trishan Gore's alright, pretty mid, well rounded all over, just doesn't excel in any area of the sport. I just think Azamat Bakoyev is quicker, more powerful. Trishan Gore won't be able to take Bakoyev down. Bakoyev has the grappling advantage. No, Trishan Gore, hold on. Yeah. Shit bravo. My tape, my notes. Trishan Gore lost his debut to Brian Battle, got destroyed by Cody Bunch. Cody Bunch TKO'd and made light work of Trishan Gore. He then beat Josh Fremd and Antonio Tricoli, two very bottom of the barrel guys. Then got another jump up against Antonio Tricoli, got absolutely smoked, and recently lost to Rodolfo Vieira. He's pretty mid. We see Bo Nickel head kick Rodolfo Vieira. So I'm going to pick Azamat Bakoyev. He'll be too fast on the feet, have the rest an advantage. I think he'll get a TKO win over Trishan Gore. Trishan Gore 6-4. Could win. He's fighting for his contract, but I think Bukayev will get the better of him and get back on the upward trajectory. Decent prospect in the middleweight division. I just don't think he's elite. Next up, fucking Elise Pereira versus Hayley Cohen. Who in the UFC thought it was a good idea to keep Hayley Cohen around? Hayley Cohen, um, hmm. she last lost. She last fought at UFC 314. I've had to do a lot of research because I don't know who any of these bums are really. She last lost at UFC 314. She got sub by Nora Canal. Not a bad loss. Nora Canal's a good fighter. But before that, she hadn't fought since 2023. She's very inactive. And yeah, she's very mid all over. Doesn't really excel in any area. Got losses to women like Jamie Lynn Horth. She's not good at all. She's not won a single fight in the UFC. She's 0-3. And I suspect Elise Pereira will go out there, TKO her in the first, and get a cut from the UFC. Elise Pereira. Yeah, she lost her debut to. Who did she lose to? Montes Rendon. She's alright. She did go and lose to that young Brazilian woman, young Mexican woman on the UFC Mexico card. But at least Pereira on the regional scene is a very good striker. She's got a clear striking advantage in this fight. Hayley Cohen isn't a high enough level grappler to take Elise Pereira down. And I think Elise Pereira will get a TKO win over Hayley Cohen. Elise Pereira on the regional scene has finished nearly all of her fights by TKO in the first. I think she'll be too big, not too big, too fast on the feet and get a TKO win over Hayley Cohen. Another fighter which we do not really care about. Next fight, Lando Venata versus Darius Flowers. Lando Venata's a UFC vet, been in the sport, been in the company for years. Fought guys like Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, fought Bobby Green twice, drew him once, lost. Matt Frivola, and some other decent names in the sport. However, he's been very inactive, not fought since 2023, where he lost to Daniel Zahuba. Wow, what a fighter Daniel Zahuba is. Uh, and then before that, in 2022, lost to Charles Jourdain by submission, I'm pretty sure. However, he's old, he's washed, he's not incredible anymore. I do think he is still better than Darius Flowers, and I'm going to pick Lando Venata to win a decision. It's a risky pick due to the age and inactivity, but I just don't think Darius Flowers is that good. Darius Flowers himself hasn't fought since July 2024, where he got submitted by Evan Elder. He's also, before that, lost to Michael Johnson, got again submitted by Jake Matthews. So Lando Venata will have the clear grappling advantage. Lando Venata's pretty well rounded, could even take Darius Flowers down. There is question marks about the gas tank and, old age affecting his performance, the skill, the speed. But I do think he'll have enough to beat Darius Flowers by decision. Darius Flowers is not that good. I'm doing the UFC. I don't really know why he's still in the company when he's not fought that long, but one pick Lando Venata by decision. It's a risky pick due to the age. Darius Flowers could get him just simply based on the youth. They're pretty even, but I think Lando Venata will be better and use his experience to win a decision over Darius Flowers. Next fight, Alessandro Costa versus Stuart Nickel. Stuart Nickel, little Australian. Is he Australian? Something like that. Somewhere for Australasia. Flyweight, 5 foot five. Well, Alessandro Costa's little as well. They're all little. Coming off of a loss last time out to Lucas Rocha, who's alright. Probably going to lose to Jeff Filio in his next fight. And then in his debut, got subbed by Jesus Aguilar at UFC 3, whenever that Australian pay per view was, or fight night, I'm pretty sure. So, bad start for him. 0-2 in the UFC. Needs a win, otherwise, he's probably going to get cut. However, I don't think he's going to get it. I think Alessandro Costa will beat him by decision. Coming off of some decent win. He is coming off of a loss to Alden Correa, but Alden Correa is a very good prospect. He's got wins prior to that against good UFC level fighters like Kevin Borjas. Before that, he's lost to Steve Erceg and Albazi, got a win over Jimmy Flick. So, Alessandro Costa's proved that he can hang with the bottom of the barrel UFC flyweights, and I think he's going to beat Stuart Nickel, but he won't go much further, loses to anyone decent in the division above him. But I do think he'll beat Stuart Nickel. He'll have a grappling advantage. He can take Stuart Nickel down. I think he'll be too fast on the feet. Stuart Nickel's alright, but just hasn't got the skill. He's got heart. I don't think he'll finish him. I'm going to pick Alessandro Costa by decision. Another pretty mid fight, let's be real. Headline in the prelims, a heavyweight scrap. Thomas Peterson versus Guilherme Pat. Guilherme Pat, 5-0, coming off of a debut win against Alan Fry Jr., I'm pretty sure. Not the best fighter, but was undefeated at the time. Guilherme Pat still undefeated himself. And I don't mind. I quite like Guilherme Pat. Sorry for stuttering. I think he's got a clear striking advantage over Thomas Peterson, and I'm going to pick Guilherme Pat to get a TKO win in the first or the second over Thomas Peterson. Thomas Peterson's alright, got good wrestling. Could out grapple Guilherme Pat, take him down. I mean, Thomas Peterson in his last fight got a TKO by Vitor Petrino. Vitor Petrino is not that good. Thomas Peterson had some success early on, but gassed out. Let me look at Thomas Peterson. He's not a natural heavyweight. You look at Guillermo Pat, he's jacked, big, 6'6", will be much bigger than Peterson. Thomas Peterson really is a 205 or 185 if he cut properly. But it's not a physique battle, it's a fucking fighting battle. I think Guillermo Pat will TKO him, too good on the feet. I can't pick Thomas Peterson to win a fight when I've seen him get destroyed on the feet by guys like Shmil Gaziev. Yeah, Thomas Peterson's very mid, can take you down. He's kind of like a worse Marcin Tybura, but I think Guillermo Pat will be too fast, too durable, not too durable, too fast, too powerful, and get him out of there pretty quick. Decent prospect, Guillermo Pat. Thomas Peterson's pretty mid. On to the main card now. Jose Delano versus Robert Chala. Jose Delano come off of a Dana White Contender Series win back in August 2025 against an alright guy, Manuel Esposito, I'm pretty sure his name was. Whereas Robert Chala made his debut last year in Paris. To a decent level fighter, William Gomez, however, was on the losing end of that fight. William Gomez is alright. Also, Robert Chala is pretty solid, but I do think Jose Delano will win a decision. I think the striking of Jose Delano is much better than Robert Chala's. And I don't think Robert Chala possesses high enough grappling to give Jose Delano problems, hold him down, submit him. I think Jose Delano will outstrike him over 3 rounds and win a decision. Robert Chala's okay, I think he's just too slow on the feet. Jose Delano will be able to outstrike him and get his way to a decision win. You know, Robert Chala's a decent fighter, he's a KSW champ. That's a respectable organisation, defending champ. He did lose the belt as well, 11-2. Decent fighter, he's big and long for the division, but I think Jose Delano will have the striking advantage and beat Richarl up by decision. He's similar to Harry Hard. He's like the Polish Harry Hardwick. You know, he's in a tough spot. Got a tough opponent on his debut on the same card as well. Then gets given a Dana White Contender Series debut in his next fight, who he's probably going to lose to. Tough spot for Richarl. He could win though, but I'm going to assume and I'm predicting that Jose Delano will outstrike him and win the decision. I was a big fan of his fight in the Dana White Contender Series. Looked very good on the feet, very slick, very fast, high volume. And I'm going to pick him to beat Robert Richarl. Featherweight fight next up. Tommy McMillan, 9-0, undefeated prospect. Sean O'Malley's teammate, gets taken on. All I have to say is look at the shorts. Manolo Zancini. Manolo Zancini, not good at all. Had one fight in the UFC. That was back in 2023, where he got TKO'd in the first round by Morgan Charrier. That highlight reel body kick, Morgan Charrier got over him. Manolo Zancini is not good at all. Tommy McMillan's a big prospect. I do think he beats Manolo Zancini, but I think people are pushing him a bit too far. I don't think he's all that. I think there's massive holes in the grappling. And he's not the most powerful striker. Other strikers in the division could give him problems. He's kind of similar to Luke Riley. But I'm going to pick Tommy McMillan to beat Manolo Zancini. I think he'll probably get a TKO. Manolo Zancini has not fought in ages. Inactive, ring rust. And I think Tommy McMillan will be too fast for him and will eventually outlast him. Maybe get a TKO as the fight goes on. Tommy McMillan, very high output, a lot of hype. He'll want to put a statement victory on his debut. And I think he will do that. I think he'll take it TKO and Manolo Zancini, who I don't rate really that high at all. Yeah, McMillan, a lot of hype, quick striker. Yeah, I'm going to pick Tommy McMillan to win by TKO. Next fight, Ethan Ewing versus Rafael Esteban. This is a very good fight, one of the better fights on the card. And a lot of people are falling for the Ethan Ewing trap just because he beat Cameron Mulmaker on short notice. I'm picking Rafael Esteban by decision. Rafael Esteban has had 3 fights in the UFC against solid fighters. Charles Johnson, Jose Aguilar. Can't remember the other one. And has won them all by 29-20 decision. He does enough to win a decision. He's very quick on the feet, very durable, likes to take you down, can hold you down, and also, something nice to be noted, he's moving up to 135, so he's going to be even better. The chin will be more intact, he'll be more prepared, less drained. He's moving up from the 125, from flyweight to bantamweight, and I think he will beat Ethan Ewing. Ethan Ewing, hot prospect right now after beating Cameron Wellmaker. I just don't think he's all that. I think Cameron Wellmaker was very overrated as well. Yeah. Me, Rafael Esteban to win a decision. You know, Ethan Ewing's alright, but he's never really beaten anyone that good on the regional scene. And let's just be real, he was not meant to be in the UFC. He was only there as a fill-in for an easy Cameron Wellmaker win, and he upset the party. The UFC weren't going to sign him I think it was Sergey Siddy that Cameron Wellmaker was meant to fight. So he weren't really on the radar. I don't think he's all that. I think he's solid. He's well-rounded. I think Rafael Esteban will be too good for him. too high output, will take him down when he wants. We don't know the grappling of Ethan Ewing. Cameron will make it try and take him down. I think Rafael Esteban will hold Ethan Ewing down for a round or two, maybe even get a submission, but I'm going to pick Rafael Esteban to beat Ethan Ewing by decision. A risky pick, as Ethan Ewing's okay, but I like Rafael Esteban. Future fight, what a layup. Abdul Rahman Yakayev is the lock of the card. He's going to absolutely destroy Benson Ribera. Benson Ribera is utter shit against anyone half decent. Abdul Rahman Yakayev, yes, it was against Rafael Kakera. Went out there, absolutely destroyed him in the first round. He knocked him down about twice with a head kick and overhand. And then the second time when he knocked him down with a nice little question mark kick, or it was either a question mark or a roundhouse. Knocked Kakera down, latched up the rear naked choke, Alexa Grasso style versus Barber. And got him out of there in about 30 seconds or something like that, I'm pretty sure it was. Looks very good. And I don't think Brenton Ribera has the grappling threat to stop him. We don't know how Abdul Rahman Yakayev will deal with a grappling pressure. But I think he'll get past guys like Brenton Ribera and be on to better things. Really big prospect in the sport, in the division. He's a little bit undersized, 6'2". He's not the biggest, but the striking and the speed and the technique is far too superior to Brenton Ribera. And I'm picking Abdul Rahman Yakayev to win by KO. Lock of the card. He's a massive favourite. That is making it a weird, risky pick because, if he's that much of a favourite, he may be a bit overconfident and cocky. But I think Brendan Ribera sucks. Got dominated by Umar Sy in his last fight. Anytime he's fought a decent fighter, he's lost by Zheng Ling Yang. I think he will be cut after Abdul Rahman Yakayev beats him. Co-main event. Vina Jandiroba versus Tabitha Ricci. This is a real IQ pick. And a risky pick because Vina Jandiroba last time out against Mackenzie Dern at UFC 321 looked incredibly mid. But Mackenzie Dern is not that bad. Vina Jandiroba is a good grappler. However, on the feet, she is utter shit. She's bigger than Tabitha Ricci. Somehow Tabitha Ricci is 5'1". Very small fighter, Tabitha Ricci. And I'm going to pick Vina Jandiroba to win a decision. I think her grappling is superior to Tabitha Ricci. Tabitha Ricci has problems with the grappling against low-level fighters like Angela Hill gave her problems. Yeah. UFC love Tabitha Ricci. She's like the Sean O'Malley of the strawweight division. They're giving her a massive jump up after beating some. After she robbed Angela Hill, they gave her a number one contender fight against Zhang Xiaonan, who Vena Jandiroba has beaten and dominated as well. She got absolutely outclassed by Yang Xiaonan. They then gave her a step down against Amanda Ribas, who is not all that. She got a nice KO win over Amanda Ribas, and she's now been given basically another title elimination bout against Vena Jandiroba. She's a massive, she's got massive Dana White privilege. However, she's not that good. Whereas guys that have had it in the past, like O'Malley, and maybe even Michael Chandler, they've been okay. I don't think Tabitha Ricci can get near Vena Jandiroba. She may outstrike her. Vena Jandiroba's striking is incredibly mid, but I think Vena Jandiroba will outgrapple her and probably win a very boring smudge fest decision. Nobody cares about Vena Jandiroba, but she is a good fighter. We have to respect the grappling of her. She was outgrappled by Mackenzie Dern, but Mackenzie Dern herself is a very good grappler. But Vena Jandiroba will always beat women like Tabitha Ricci, who just don't lack high-level striking and takedown defense. I think she'll be able to get Tabitha Ricci down at will, win a decision. And to be honest, I don't really care. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just think Vena Jandiroba's grappling is superior to Tabitha Ricci, and she will win against Tabitha Ricci. She's never going to touch the belt again because she won't beat Mackenzie Dern. And Zhang Weili just mogs all these women in the strawweight division. She's far superior. That just shows how good Valentina Shevchenko is. But yeah, give me Vena Jandiroba by decision. I don't rate Tabitha Ricci. She's a massive wannabe star that the UFC are pushing, and I don't buy the hype. Main event time. Renato Moicano and Chris Duncan. 5 rounds. Lightweight division. I am going with Chris Duncan to TKO Renato Moicano in the 3rd to the 5th round later on in the fight. I think the fight will be scrappy rounds 1 and 2. Moicano may have some success early on. He may take Duncan down and hold him down. We've seen Duncan be taken down before. He's difficult to hold down though. He's pretty scrappy. He'll look to scramble back up to the feet. I think Moicano may have a good first round where they're fresh, they're dry, they're not fatigued yet. I think Moicano start well, but Duncan will use that chin, the youth, the durability which he possesses, and I think he'll be able to push Moicano back, throwing 1-2s, powerful shots. We see him now in powerful elbows in the clinch, uppercuts in the clinch against Terence McKinney. I think he'll look to get this fight in the clinch. Maybe get some sweeps on Moicano or just double legs. And I think Chris Duncan will get the TKO in the 3rd round. I think he'll back him up against the cage, land a nice 1-2, sit Moicano down, have Moicano like on his back, and then Duncan just land some ground and pound and finish the fight and earn his ranking in the lightweight division. Moicano's number 10, so with a win like that, Duncan will be around that 10 to 13 mark, depending on where they place him. We know how shit the UFC are with their rankings. But yeah, I think Duncan will beat Moicano. And even, it could go early. If Moicano is to take Duncan down, Duncan's got an incredible guillotine. But likewise, Moicano's a very good grappler himself. So if I was Duncan, I'd be looking to keep this on the feet, as he probably has the striking advantage. We see Moicano very average, very shit against pretty much everyone he's fought on the feet. Jalen, back in the day, Jalen Turner dropped him badly. Jalen Turner had a brain, he'd have defeated Moicano. You, let's be honest, the fight was on the ground for the whole 2 rounds against BSD. Moicano just took him down, held him down, nice elbows. So yeah, Duncan, if Moicano can get Duncan down, it may be difficult to get Duncan up. However, I do believe Duncan has better scrambles, better bottom game than BSD. Then obviously we saw the Makachev fight. Moicano just got molested. That's Islam Makachev. Chris Duncan is not Islam Makachev. But yeah, I think Duncan will win by TKO. You could even get a guillotine if Moicano shoots a wild double leg or single leg. Yeah, it's Duncan's time. He's younger. Duncan is a better Moicano everywhere. Maybe the grappling, but Duncan's for sure the better guy on the feet, and I suspect he will get to finish in the third, fourth, fifth round maybe. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like, subscribe. Thank you again for watching, and yeah, goodbye.